Here we have Hawker Tempest II HA580 MW758 is the RAF serial. Obviously spent most of her operational career with the Indian Air Force through to around 1955 when she was retired for airfield decoy duty at Pune, which is frankly the only reason she still exists. So we have the Centaurus engine mount still installed at the moment temporarily. And this is the main center fuel tank. It almost seems ridiculously small when you consider that is the biggest tank on the entire aircraft. Behind it, this is the oil tank for the engine, as you can see, strategically placed directly over the feet of the pilot, so you wouldn't want to take a round to that when it's full of hot oil. Typical Hawker, pre-war, early war, tubular structure with stainless steel bracketry. It's all been covered in zinc chromate primer at the moment just for protection, but all of the bracketry is all stainless steel and it's all completely original. Seat is in there, original seat, but not in the correct position. There is additional framework. It would normally sit higher than this. She's just sat in there at the moment for sort of safekeeping. You've got your main spar structure, very solid. And your forward spar, again here, very robust. The front deck on these, same as the Typhoon, is a removable structure. It sits mounted onto the tubular framework and obviously mounts the instrument panel, the gun controls, the cannon controls, the gun sight, which in this particular aircraft is a gyro gun sight, a GGS-2, which we do have. It came from Belgium. Control column with the typical British style articulated top section to give clearance for the pilot's knees in what were traditionally quite tight cockpits. Trim wheel and obviously throttle quadrant would be over here, and we've got side leg panels and stuff which are currently being rebuilt, which will be temporarily refitted. So yeah, the transition structure where your tubular framework attaches to the monocoque of the rear of the aircraft. This was along with, started again with the Typhoon, but the Typhoon and the Tempest were really kind of transitional airframes between the old style tubular and the more modern style monocoque that the Spitfire obviously had, and most aircraft since have really employed. So yeah, the rear monocoque, again, all original at the moment. Remnants of the Indian Air Force roundel still visible, and some of the markings just about. The black band that was in the final scheme that she wore. Transport joint J, I believe. And then the tail. And obviously this is one of the big obvious visual differences between the Typhoon and the Tempest, with the aerodynamic fairing of the Tempest here being, very different visually to the Typhoon. Very lucky again to have that. And interestingly, underneath that, the profile of the fin is incredibly similar looking to the Typhoon and to the Hurricane. You can definitely tell there's family lineage. So yeah. Come around to this side, exploratory panel there, just to have a look at the internal structure. I mean, obviously these skins are going to have to be replaced anyway, but quite a nice section there of Indian Air Force colours on this side. Small caliber bullet hole in the fin. Probably somebody in India at some point just having a pot shot for fun when she was a decoy. The roundel's a little more visible on this side actually. We are going to, obviously, to stabilise the structure of the surface, we are going to have to prime the whole thing. So we will lose that, but then a lot of it is pretty faded, to say the least. So, quick view of the side. See original canopy. Rudder pedal assembly. Again, very reminiscent of Hurricane. Take you over to see the wing. Both wings are here on a made-up trestle, sat on the leading edges, which had some damage anyway. But it's actually been a very effective way of keeping them manageable. They can be moved around on this by two people on casters. So yeah, this one wing has both flaps. The other wing is missing them. We do have both ailerons stored safely, and also wingtips, along with a lot of these sort of skin panels that have been removed again for inspection. The large opening there is the cannon bay, so those structures at the bottom are the remnants of the 20mm Hispano Mark V cannon mounts. And these circular holes here and there are the underwing hardpoints. So they would have taken rails for rockets, freefall bombs, and two of them are plumbed for drop tanks as well. And again, remnants of original paintwork can be seen. The roundel's pretty good there, and she would have had black wingtips at some point too, to match the black band on the rear of the fuselage. Centaurus engine, completely dismantled at the moment, looking rather sorry for itself, but it will do as a static example for the time being. Rear casing, extremely heavy, very impressive bits of kit. Front casings. The smaller one here actually has the reduction gear still in it. This one is missing it, but we'll transfer that across into there. This is a somewhat spurious Sea Fury leg. Certain parts of it are very similar. Some of the damping knuckles appear to be very similar, but obviously the Tempest legs do not have this additional damper built in here. Just beefing up for carrier landings with the Sea Fury, which makes a lot of sense. For comparison, the lower leg, so this section here on the Sea Fury is this section on the Tempest, obviously omitting that extra damper at the lower end there. These are the original ones, looking a bit rough, but the casings and the castings, are actually pretty solid. We'll have them vapor blasted and inspected. I mean, at the very least, they're okay for static. All the cylinders for the engine, all 18, very large indeed. Main wheels with tyres, there's a brand new tyre there, and obviously the prop boss, which is in very good condition, completely inhibited with the original inhibiting oil, and astonishingly heavy, I guess, as you would anticipate. The last piece that's over here is actually goes on the very nose of the aircraft, and sits in front of the engine, and then the spinner, it's sort of an aerodynamic fairing. The spinner's in front of that for the prop, which we don't have. So if anyone has a prop, then yeah, get in touch. But there she is, currently at South Wales Aviation Museum at St Athan. Feel free to come and have a look.